All right, so the Padres, they will not get swept by the Baltimore Orioles. Thank you to Jack Flaherty for coming into Petco Park, not being able to throw strikes in that first inning. 3 walks, and then when he did throw strikes, he threw meatballs down the middle to Gary Sanchez, who had a grand slam. And the Padres, what I liked about the offense is they were able to continue to add on. It wasn't just a first inning, big 5-run first inning. They continued to add on, and then at the end of the game, they made the Baltimore Orioles throw out a position player, James McCann, former catcher for the Mets, the White Sox, now with the Orioles, made him go out there and throw. Now, maybe it's embarrassing that they weren't able to score a run off of James McCann, but at least the game was over before then, and they weren't on the other side of that, right? Luis Garcia took a little bit to close out that game. But Michael Wacha, let's focus on the positives here. Michael Wacha pitched really good, came back, first start back off of the IL, dealt with the shoulder thing. 5 innings, doesn't give up any runs, and he was pitching just like before he got hurt. He's been really good for this Padres team. Do they pick up the option? I think it's like $16 million. And if they pick it up, then I think it's an option for 2025 as well. Like, they're picked up at the same time. Next year's contract and the year after that. So that's going to be interesting to see what the Padres do there. But this year, I think he's done really well in this Padres contract. And it's kind of confusing when you look back at it. Why the heck was he available that late in free agency? And the Padres pounced, and so got to give credit to A.J. Preller on that signing. There's been some where it hasn't worked out, and they've been bad signings, but you got to give credit there because it is due there. Matt Carpenter got in the game today. Congratulations to Bob Melvin. Finally found a spot for Matt Carpenter to get an at-bat. He's been telling the media it's hard to find a spot to get him an at-bat right now. It's hard. Well, 9-run game. I think it was the 8th inning. Finally found a spot to get him in. He strikes out, but it's a tough spot to put him in. Guy hasn't swung a bat on the field, not in batting practice, in 3 weeks. And you're expecting him to not miss a beat, and he was struggling before he got benched for 3 weeks, So what I like about Matt Carpenter is he's been such a good team player throughout this process. And maybe some Padres fans don't care about that, and they're like, well, this contract has sucked, and he just has not been able to perform, so I don't care if he's a good teammate or not. But I do care because we've had some in the past where they haven't been all Padres, right? Maybe they're a decent teammate, but they really only care about what they do, and then when they don't get the playing time, they get mad about it. But Matt Carpenter, he has said to the media, like, I'm all for what the Padres think is best, and I'm all in on that. So, again, I'm not going to ever sit here and say that I hate Matt Carpenter, like I think I can say about Eric Hosmer, or strongly dislike Eric Hosmer, if you don't want me to use the word hate. I'm not going to say that about Matt Carpenter, just because of how Matt Carpenter has handled this, And offensively, yeah, really good game. Gary came through, and Ben Gamel, and there was a lot of offense coming tonight from this lineup, and that's good to see. But I leave today not being super happy about where the Padres are headed, because it feels like they're headed to no postseason appearance, right? I can be happy about Michael Wacha returning and just the game in general, and finally we got to see a grand slam, and finally got to call it Slam Diego. But what have they been able to do after they blow out guys, right? After they blow out teams, what do? 4 times this season, after scoring double digits, they score 0 runs the next game. So what's going to be telling is what can they do tomorrow? And really not just that, what can they do tomorrow, but what can they do tomorrow and in the Diamondback series? Because they haven't won 4 games in a row yet this season. So it's not about, can they win 2 games in a row here against the Orioles, win this series? Because that's not going to change my opinion about this team. It's not. Orioles are a good team, but what happened with the Rangers series? They swept the Rangers. The Rangers are one of the best teams in the AL, just like the Baltimore Orioles are. What happened after that, right? They haven't played well. So they've got to do this consistently before I have I start to believe again. I'm nowhere close to believing in this team again. I just want to make that clear. But, it's a good start, like I've said like a million times this season. Now, can they keep it going? Can they keep playing well? Can they keep scoring runs consistently on offense? That's obviously the big question coming from this game. Blake Snell on the mound tomorrow. You think that they're going to have a good shot at being able to win this series. But again, a series win, as I'll talk about on the show tomorrow night after that series finale when I get home, a series win, that should not change Padres fans' minds about this team. Like, it's good. You want that to you want them to win the series, but it's not going to change our minds. They've got to do it more often than just the last 2 games of this series.